answers and says, dominion and fear are with God. He makes peace in the high heavens. Is there any number to his arms? Upon whom does his light not rise? How then can man be in the light before God? How can he who is born of woman be pure? Behold, even the moon is not bright, and the stars are not pure in his eyes. How much less man, who is a maggot, and the Son of Man, who is a worm.
Not a very good answer. Did you want to go on to 26 where Job replies to that?
I think we will, since the other one was so short, and so next time we'll begin with 27. All right, fair enough. Then Job answered and said, how you have helped him who is no power.
Who has no power.
Who has no. How have you helped him who has no power? How you have saved the arm that has no strength. How you have counseled him who has no wisdom, and plentifully declare sound knowledge. With whose help have you uttered words, and whose breath has come out from you? The dead tremble under the waters and their inhabitants. Sheol is naked before God, and Abaddon has no covering. He stretches out the north over the void and hangs the earth on nothing. He binds up the waters in his thick clouds, and the cloud is not split open under them. He covers the face of the full moon and spreads over it his cloth.
It's cloud.
I'm sorry?
It's cloud.
Cloud, correct. He has inscribed a circle on the face of the waters, at the boundary between light and darkness. The pillars of heaven tremble and are astonished at his rebuke. By his power he stills the sea. By his understanding he shatters Rehab. By his wind the heavens were made fair. His hand pierced the fleeing serpent. Behold, there are but
these are but the outskirts
of his ways. And how small is whispered do you hear of him? But the thunder of his power, who can understand?
So he's just answering his friend with this, you don't know the knowledge of God. You can't understand what he will and will not do, what he'll accept and not accept. No one knows the mysteries. And so he's just reminding him. That's why we have the guideline of the 10 Commandments. That's why we have Jesus, who says, love each other. You know, he didn't say, oh, just love those of your race. He says, love each other as I have loved you. Be kind to each other. You know, don't judge each other. Because God doesn't judge us. So why are we so busy judging us?
So you're saying no one should ever judge anything?
I'm saying not that you shouldn't judge anything. You shouldn't assume something on someone else. If someone's poor, well, you don't know why they're poor. You don't know what got them into this position. You sit there, so many people sit there and they're like, oh, well, you're poor because you put yourself there. Not everyone's put themselves there. There are situations that happen. There are situations that make people mean and nasty and cruel. So why would you judge someone who's going to snap at you until you get to know who they are? Because if someone's been hurt before, the first thing they're going to do is snap at you. First thing they're going to do is try to attack you. And I don't mean physically, but it's because of the position they were in. Those who go beyond and take it a step further and commit crimes against each other, because this is not a crime they're talking about. They're not talking about crimes. They're talking about the way people act. If you take it a step further and you start committing a crime against somebody, well, we all know that's wrong. God says it's wrong. So why would you take it a step further? So this is just the starting point. You just keep moving that starting point over and you keep going beyond these simple little paths, then yes. Then that starts weighing on your soul and who you are. And that is what gets you in trouble. That is what, when you meet your Maker, will be asked, why did you do this? What made you think you can take a life when I've said, thou shalt not kill? So if you follow the 10 Commandments and you don't overstep them, you fall into the category where these people were living and where we're supposed to be living right now. So you can use each one of the 10 Commandments in everyday life. When you run into somebody, and it says, don't prejudge somebody. Don't look at someone and judge them, for you have your own faults. That's all right there written out for us to follow.
So, if I may, let me ask a question. Have you ever sinned?
I haven't stepped outside the boundaries of the 10 Commandments. As far as a sin, I don't know. Because I live my life by the 10 Commandments.
So you don't know if you've sinned or not?
No. Not outside of the rules. I don't curse at people. I don't purposely accuse them of anything. I don't go around being false witness to anything. That's not what I do. It's not who I am.
Granted. But the question is, have you ever sinned?
No, I've never stolen. I've never cheated. I've never slept around. Those are all part of the 10 Commandments. These are things I have not stepped over the boundaries.
So should we call you a saint?
No.
Well, what's the difference?
I don't know what a saint is.
A saint is someone who's never sinned.
Well, Jesus is the only one who doesn't sin. I commit probably little tiny sins, but they fall within the guidelines.
And could you name one of those sins?
Thinking horrible thoughts about you.
Okay.
But not to kill you.
That's a great relief.
Yeah.
Now,
just horrible thoughts. How about that?
Let's analyze that. Let's analyze one you haven't mentioned. If you have sinned, and you've just said you have sinned, you know your sins, right?
If I feel I've stepped over the line, especially with the bad thoughts about you, I instantly go to God and say, God, that was wrong of me. Please help me with this. This is my weakness. So yes, I do know my weaknesses. God knows my weaknesses. And at that very moment, when I get done thinking the evil thoughts, then yes, I pray instantly to God.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever analyzed why you have whatever weaknesses you have? Why do you have them?
I base it on human nature.
Human nature. So it's not you as a person, it's just everybody.
I believe so, because we all seem to have the same weaknesses.
And why do you think we do?
I think we do because of your lovely book, Genesis, explains it all. We broke from God.
And why did we do that?
Because I don't know. We did that because we were tempted by the devil to open our eyes to be more like God. So we were told a lie.
And what was the lie?
The lie was that we would be more God-like. And we would know it all.
So we did it to be more God-like.
Yes.
So where is the sin in that?
God told us not to do it.
Okay.
There's the sin.
All right.
We went against what he told us.
And why do we sin today?
Why do we sin today? Because of greed? Because